Nick Wright, top of the hour. So, and I just said, I think Deion and Belichick, you'd think they're totally different going to college. Very similar. They bring a new energy. Both made their hay in NFL football, and they both opened with TCU. Belichick's an underdog. Deion beat TCU in the opener. I just went back and looked at it very closely. It was a shootout. But my question is, I think I've always believed I always said Rex Ryan would have been a really good college coach. He's kind of a good-looking guy with a huge personality. He would have been a great recruiter. I think Rex Ryan would have been a big... Now, I thought he was a little sloppy and light on the details as an NFL coach, but he did have a pretty good run, let's be honest, with the Jets. He had a pretty good run. And I know Rex a little bit. He's a big person. I always thought John Gruden would be an excellent college coach. He's got just enough BS in the recruiting trail. John could recruit. Jimmy Johnson, Pete Carroll, and Jim Harbaugh were great college coaches and pro coaches, right? But the reason is they can recruit, their personalities. And they're culture setters. They're tone setters. They're not as much, they're walk-around guys more than just scheme guys. Kyle Shanahan, Andy Reid, Sean Payton, scheme guys. I don't think they'd like recruiting. I think they like sitting in a room and figuring out plays. And I don't think they'd be as successful in college. And I love Sean Payton, Andy Reid, and Shanahan. Shanahan would have no interest with boosters, no interest with an athletic director, and I don't think Kyle would want to recruit much. So that's my question with Belichick, is that will his brilliance be muted? And I like Elon Musk needs, as a genius, the freedom to be a genius. If you put Elon Musk in a rigid corporate setting, he would be the smartest guy at IBM and would go crazy. Jeff Bezos at Amazon, he didn't make a profit for the first 20, 21 years. He needed the freedom to explore. The late architect Frank Lloyd Wright, you don't want him building DMV buildings, right? Like sometimes the greater the intellect, they're mavericks. They're risk takers because they have so much confidence in their ability. And I think with Belichick, my question isn't if he's smart enough. He's a brilliant guy. But like how much in a 17-hour NCAA mandated work week, how much can you teach? And Tom Brady was on Joel Klatt's podcast and talked about that very thing.
What they're going to get is obviously the most prepared, the most hardworking coach that I'd ever been around. If you go to that school, you will be prepared to play at the next level. He's going to teach you the right fundamentals, the right techniques. He's going to have a high expectation for you, and you're going to develop a lot. That's what I know. He is so smart with how he approaches defensive schemes and offensive schemes, and how much can these young kids retain.
Yeah, and also just tactically. I mean, there have been NFL coaches that go to college, and there's always been this perception that a college guy can't go to the NFL, but Jim Harbaugh did and had great success, and Jimmy Johnson did and had success, and Pete Carroll did and had success, and it's usually because they could really recruit. They have Pete Carroll's got Jimmy John, I've been around Jimmy a lot. They've got an energy. Harbaugh, when he comes on my show for an interview, the last couple of them as a Charger guy, huge energy. And I think the guys that are more, not intellect's the wrong word, but more like football academics. Like Andy Reid will not do joint practices. He won't let you even look at any of his stuff. He doesn't want any team at his practice. And Belichick is a brilliant, brilliant football coach. But man, I got 6 kids in my life. At 19 years old, they make weird choices. They can frustrate you, especially as you age. We have very interesting discussions during the breaks. I have like a rule with my family. I had to tell my daughter the other day, as a family, and I don't think this is elitist, we do not fly any airline that's the same color as a highlighter. We do not fly bright yellow airlines. And it's my theory is any boardroom that decides that's a great looking color in the sky, the same as lightning, I'm not flying it. So we do Delta and American and British and Air Canada and Swiss and Lufthansa and KLM and Singapore and Emirates. I've never flown, but it's supposed to be bougie. But if you're bright yellow, we're not flying you. And that's just my theory is if you're the same color as lightning, We're not flying you. That management team has made bad decisions. Okay. So I thought it was a little weird. The Cleveland Browns' second depth chart of the summer came out. Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders is fourth. The guy who played Friday and was really good. So, and it reminded me of something, is that I used to, right out of college, I got a job with a minor league baseball team. And if you were a 20th round draft pick and hit 370 in the spring from a center field position, you still wouldn't make the Major League 40-man roster. But if you were a first round pick who hit 260 at the same position, you probably would. There's politics, there is pick equity, there's validation of choices by general managers, and I noticed this a lot, the politics of it, when I worked in minor league baseball. Guys would have great springs and not make the 40-man roster. I'm like, oh, he's a 27th round pick. And like Shedeur's a 5th round pick. And the team, the GM and the coach put the 3rd round pick, that's the one they were trying to sell. And I don't think Dylan Gabriel's an NFL quarterback. Maybe a backup, but he's just too small. But you got to give Shedeur Sanders credit. A lot of pressure on him Friday, and it's pretty good. Okay, arm, movement, and can we stop with he's not athletic enough? I'm watching again this morning. He's athletic enough. There's one play against Carolina. He's spinning around, and this is more athletic than half the quarterbacks in the NFL. Flush to the left, spins again. And then in a foot race, that is more athletic than all but about 10 guys in the league. That's a very athletic quarterback, and we know he's accurate. So, and by the way, Shedeur is their only healthy quarterback right now. Is that not a skill? Was that not a skill for Eli Manning and Tom Brady and Brett Favre? He's healthy. Little Dylan Gabriel's not. Kenny Pickett's banged up. Deshaun Watson can't get his act together or stay healthy. Now, Joe Flacco's fine. He's going to be the starter. But my point is he's healthy. You deserve credit for that. He was good Friday. You deserve credit. I was looking at his throws downfield. You can dink and dunk your way to a really nice 69% completion percentage. On throws 10-plus yards downfield. Had 149 passer rating. Those are the throws that matter. Again, not with a very good receiving core. I mean, they are one of the weaker receiving cores in the league. So I do think it's a little odd. I don't think anybody's rooting against him, but it is a little odd that you'd put out the second depth chart and he's 4th. He's available. He's healthy, which is a skill. He played, and he played well. So, I don't know. I feel like me trying to read the Cleveland Browns' sensibility on quarterbacks is like trying to figure out J-Lo's boyfriends. I don't know what she's looking for at this point. Young, old, funny, academic. I can't follow J-Lo's boyfriends. I can't follow Cleveland. They loved Manziel's cockiness. They loved Baker's chutzpah. They overlooked Deshaun Watson's weirdness. I mean, Shedeur's not serious enough for my taste yet. Maybe he grows into it. But I think sometimes he has to grow up some. Don't overlook the obvious. He's accurate. He moves well. Deion Sanders gave him some, advantages. His dad was a coach. He also, by the way, in college had 41 total starts. That matters. Like Anthony Richardson at Florida had 13. Looks raw. At different levels of football, Shedeur had 41 college starts. Dad's an all-time legend. That's a football family. Best friends with Travis Hunter. So now he's not legendary like his draft room said, but I think we have to be fair here. He's not serious enough for my taste at this point in his life. But you can't watch Friday and tell me, he's just a pocket guy. No, he's not. No, he's not. That's not fair. He's not just a pocket guy. Here is Kevin Stefanski yesterday on the Browns' sort of odd quarterback room.
Dylan can do some 11 on 11. Obviously, we're still mindful of his tightness in the hamstring. Kenny, not just yet 11 on 11, but both guys progressing well.
Do you expect Shedeur to start Saturday?
I'm not there on the game itself. By Wednesday, Thursday, I'll have a better feel for the game and how we're going to handle that.
Now, I pushed back greatly when an announcer for the other network said he was being sabotaged. That's nonsense. They want him to flourish. But now that he has flourished and is healthy, it seems to me you would reward him. Now, there is the possibility of this. Famous dad, legendary draft room, they are tempering the hype. Their take is, listen, we're giving him easy stuff. But if you're giving him easy stuff and he's throwing to a weak receiving room and has 149 quarterback rating on throws of 10 yards down the field, then he's probably better than you think. And players drop in the draft for a lot of reasons. A lot. Maturity, I think, really hurt him. But let's also be fair. People that we respect. I mean, J-Mac and I, there's certain people we both bring on our shows or podcasts. Daniel Jeremiah is somebody that I have a lot of respect for. Daniel Jeremiah had a first-round grade. So it's not like I get the legendary stuff. He butchered the New York Giants interview. I have now had that validated by two people with very close contacts to the New York Giants. It was awful. It was worse than what was reported. It was because the Giants don't want to make him look bad. It was bad. And legendary speeding tickets. But the speeding tickets were pre-draft. So he was underdrafted. Obviously, Brock Purdy was underdrafted. Tom Brady was underdrafted. Because Brady did have some success at Michigan. But here's Matt Hasselbeck yesterday on Shedeur in the entire saga.
Will the Cleveland Browns have the courage to keep 4 quarterbacks? And courage is the word I'm using because it's like no one else does that. It doesn't make any sense. This is a team that has gone without a quarterback for so long that they might just say, hey, listen, it's that important of a position. We like what we have here, the traits that he's showing. Let's hold on to him and develop him. On the field, he doesn't give me pause at all. He doesn't worry me at all.
The other thing about availability, because Dylan Gabriel's hurt, is that I know it sounds weird to say availability is a skill, but I think anything you practice is a skill. Tom Brady practiced getting sacked. Lamar Jackson practiced being a better slider. When he ran, he wanted to slide better. Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray had baseball backgrounds. Day one, they were great at avoiding big contact. Not getting hit is a skill. And when you're practicing not getting sacked. So Shedeur Sanders, for all the misgivings I have with his speeding tickets, he's not getting hurt. And they're now, sometimes you bang your left hand on a helmet. Again, Tom Brady, before the AFC Championship game, had a gash on his throwing hand. I think he had to wear a glove. I remember seeing a picture of it. It was ghastly. It was awful. And he ended up winning the game. So accidents do happen. But if everybody was, I know this, if I was a coach and everybody was hurt and that kid was healthy, I would maybe unfairly view him. I would move him up the roster. I'm like, well, the kid's healthy. He's ready to play. Because in the NFL, everybody's hurt. Even quarterbacks. Everybody's banged up. Even in high school level, football practice is physical. Basketball practice is fun. Ground balls, baseball practice, lacrosse practice, those are fun. Football practice is not that fun. It's really not that fun, even if you play quarterback. All right, J-Mac, Nick Wright's going to be joining us next hour at the very top of the hour. So tomorrow, now later in the show, Mike Sando, who did the quarterback tiers, I'm going to ask him about what people said, because what's fascinating, he had 50 different people, 6 GMs, 6 assistant GMs, 6 former GMs, and those quotes are anonymous. So a couple of coaches came out and hammered Caleb Williams' processing. But I'm also interested. I'm going to ask him about what a lot of the people said off the record on Bo Nix, Jordan Love, J.J. McCarthy, although we don't have a lot on him, and Caleb Williams. So it's going to be a very interesting interview. The other thing to think about, tomorrow, I have 2 more opportunities to change my NFL standings picks. So last year we got the AFC division winners all right. I'm going to make 2 major moves. So I do think preseason matters. You look at injuries. I am making 1 major AFC move and 1 substantial NFC move, both with playoff teams. So I do think preseason matters. I'll just tell you right now, losing Rashawn Slater at left tackle for the Chargers is a real problem. That is a real. Thank God Harbaugh drafted Joe Alt. If they'd have gone receiver, they would be in that division with Denver's pass rush and Kansas City's pass rush. They would be in big trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Hour 1 in the books. Nick Wright, Mike Sando. It's the Herd.